Alright, so I wanted to do a little guide on how to do some of these challenge events and what order that you should do if you are a brand new player. So let's just go ahead and hop right into it. We're going to go ahead and talk about like every single event and then talking about what might be the best units as of right now to bring in, and then sort of the items that you should bring. But let's just go ahead and start off with the easiest one. Well, easiest quote unquote one, which is Dokkan events. So these events are the medals that you'll grind to be able to get the newly Dokkan Fest or old Dokkan Fest to be basically boosted. So they'll go from being able to be level 100 to level 120. They'll get so much more stuff in their passive. They can have transformations once they do transform. They, like I said, they can get a lot better. So Dokkan events is just the way that you can make units awaken and get stronger. But yeah, that's basically the premise of Dokkan events. But now let's start getting into some of these other ones. So speed battle used to be something that you can attempt to get rewards, but they've since taken those away. So we'll just go past this. This is basically what used to just be like a thing to get rewards, but that was like for in-person events, I believe. So prime battles are events that you will only be able to take characters that you have acquired from events or quests on your team. So what that means is I can click on this and I'll click on this. Only units that you could basically have gotten free to play, not from login bonuses though. Only units that you could have gotten from events can be used here. You'll already go ahead, and what they have done as an update is it'll only show you units that you can take into the event. So you won't have to worry about, oh, is this unit free to play? Is this unit not? It'll already show you. So all of these units would have been able to be taken into the events. Most of the time, like for example, this one, you do want to try and do a category. However, something that could also be done as well is choosing some of these leaders like Kaioken Goku, who have all key and then attack, HP, and defense, basically just supporting everyone, right? Ones to always avoid though are stuff like Bpan, who like give HP or attack and defense per key sphere obtained. While it sounds good on paper, you're not going to get as many key spheres as just having it a permanent buff would be. That, and you're also losing out on HP as well. So just keep that in mind, right? Now let's just go ahead and keep going. So like I was talking about, well, there's a whole bunch of prime battle events. The higher up you go, the newer the event is. So most of the time, the bottom ones are going to be a lot easier, but they're also just going to be a lot worse. Like this Frieza was really good on release. It was really good when he easy A'd, but he's just not good anymore, right? Same with this guy, same with this guy, same with this guy. Well, he just got easy A'd, so let me not talk about that. But yeah, like I was talking about, the higher you go up, the more that you can get some stuff. This is where the really, really good events, and I kind of have to do these too, because I think that I'm missing like 2 missions. No, it's just one. So Boss Rush. So Boss Rush is really different from how it began and how it is now. How it used to be was you would go through the 5 Dokkan events, and then they made it where if you did a higher difficulty, you would have to go through even more. So the first stage for doing the easiest, just super, so we can just go ahead and back out real quick. You can see just doing the easiest difficulty would give us 5 stones. Then if we did the next difficulty up, it would be 10 stones, then 20 stones, and then 30 stones, which you see here. This is, like, I'm going to be honest with you, even just having like the best team and clearing everything in one shot is probably going to take like 30 minutes to beat this stage, right? Then they changed it around basically stage 3, where it's just regular Dokkan events. So you have to fight 5 back-to-back Dokkan events from this point onwards, right? But despite it saying that it's the hardest difficulty of Super 3, this is actually not that bad. Okay, so yeah. Most of the time you just want to do the top stages first, or the bottom stages first, and just slowly grind your way up. I can understand if maybe you don't want to dedicate 30 or 40 minutes, maybe even upwards of an hour, depending on if you really are just taking a little bit more time on these stages. Because like I said, you're basically doing 5, 10, 14 Dokkan events back to back to back, right? Like it's gonna take a while, right? So 30 minutes and 40 minutes is probably a little bit too easy. But from that point on, like I said, it gets a lot better. But the rewards, as you can see, it's just like almost a multi, or basically a discounted multi, right? So in my opinion, you should always try to do boss rushes first, because those are the things that are going to give you the most amount of stones in the least amount of time. Everything else in terms of like story events and this and that, they're always going to take a lot of time, but literally doing 5 Dokkan events back to back is going to give you 35 stones, 30 stones, 30 stones, 20, 10, 5 stones. Like all of those are really, really good. And the first events are super easy, because like I could just go ahead and show my previous team. Like, dude, it doesn't even have it, I don't think, because it's just been that long. It doesn't. Maybe the records will show me what my thing was. Yes, dude, look at that. It can't display it. Wow. Because it's too long ago. But yeah, you could basically see here, like, this is all older units, and you could just easily wipe out this stage. It really is not that bad. If you take fully free to play units in it, it wouldn't even be that bad, especially for the first ones. So this one is a bit of a weird one. So this one, the Give It a Dokkan Punch Machine, is an event that you need to do a certain amount of damage to get rewards. So stage 1 and 4 is Zenny, 2 and 5 is Hidden Potential, and 3 and 6 is Dragon Stones. So you can get, I also need to do this as well, but you can get a lot of stones from here. Let me just pull it up because it'll show it at the bottom. 7 stones, 15 stones, 10, 12, 4, 3. Like, you can get a ton of stones, right? The main thing with this is that you just have to do as much damage as you can in one turn. I believe the one that I did with this was that I awakened AGL Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. I can't remember, actually. It's been too long, but basically you just want to take in units that can burst. So you're like, yeah, right here, I just basically made it where Go Frieza would be the one who would do all the damage. And then you could bring in support items. So most of the items you want to bring are items like this, which change the orbs. Then you get something that gives attack boost. You get something that does, let me just, right here, like these items. This one will change a certain key sphere to whatever type that you choose, and then it'll give you 5 attack per. Let me see which one there ones. There's other ones that do it too. I think it's these bottom ones. Yeah, AGL, STR. Most of the time you can get those from the Zenny shop, by the way, or the exchange shop on the bottom right. But for now, we'll go ahead and skip past that. Oh, sorry, 1 second. Okay, so Fighting Legend Goku event. This is probably one of the easier ones. It's an event that came out, I think it's like 3 years ago. So the gimmick with this one is that Goku changes typings with each phase, and he has 8 phases. You also get legendary Goku tickets as well, or Fighting Legend Goku tickets that can give you LRs, or just other units as well. Non-Dokkan Fest, but they can still be LRs, so it's not bad, right? There are missions as well to use certain teams. Most of them I do have done, but like Final Trump Card, Dual Class Warrior, Patara. If you're just beating it for the first time, you don't need to do this, but mostly the units that you want to use in here are all stacking characters. So like, as you can see here, the one that I'm using is Vegeta, who stacks, right? Beerus, who also stacks attack, but you primarily want to do defense. Piccolo, who stacks defense, right? Like all of these units are mostly defense stackers, so doing something like that is usually the best. Let's go ahead and get out of here. We could, should I talk about EZA areas? I guess we can. So EZA areas are basically EZAs, but worse. They give you less stones, but they give you whatever unit is just awakened again. It's just EZAs, but you have to use certain units. Yeah, it'll tell you which characters that you need to use. Most of the time you have to, if it's for LRs, you have to use a certain amount of characters that are already EZA, that you have to have already EZA'd, that are free to play. And then for just EZA T Wars, most of the time it's just specific units that don't need to be it's just like a wide array, yeah, of units here. It's not as limited as the LRs one are. So here we go, Fighting Legend GT event. This one was one that came out like 2 or 3 years ago, I believe. So hey, as another person who has it where he transforms every single phase, and then he has it where he will have it to where he changes typings with each phase as well. Don't forget as well, you also just get stones for getting past certain phases. We can go ahead and scroll all the way down and check that out. So getting phase 5 gives you 4 stones. Doing phase 2 gives you 2 tickets. Doing phase 3 gives you 3, you know, like, and so on and so forth, right? This one is also just like Fighting Legend Goku event, except obviously it's just GT edition, where you just want to bring a lot of stacking units. So if they have something that says something about raising attack or primarily raising defense, those are the units you want to bring. This one raises attack, but he has guard, so he's really good. This one raises attack and defense. This one raises attack for infinitely, but raises defense for 1 turn. But it supports the team, so it's good, right? So it's just a Fighting Legend Goku event. This is the newest one on global. On JP, they have one that is freezing. We could talk about both of those real quick. It's again another thing that just want to bring really stacking characters in. Has missions, has it where you can get free summon tickets that can get free stuff. You guys get the gist at this point, right? There's a whole bunch of missions for categories as well. But if you're just doing it for the first time, don't feel afraid to just do one that is not for those things. Don't forget as well, you can bring support items. The best items to bring for these is the Icarus, the Whis. This one is also good. The Princess Snake. The Android 8 is also very good. I think there's one more. Ghost Usher is also pretty good too. King Yemma is decent, but I would say that the other ones are definitely better. And that's basically it. Those are the best ones for this, right? I'm going and get out of here. But yeah, like I said, it's just another one where you want to bring people who are raising defense, you know, stuff like that. Let's get out of here. Okay, so now we start getting to the hard stages. Another easy area that we don't really need to talk about. Now we start getting to the hard stages. So God of Destruction event. This is an event that is just very difficult if you don't know what you're doing. So the gimmicks with these ones are these are all 1 phase fights except for specifically one. Well, kind of. We'll talk about that. So these are all 1 phase fights, meaning that as soon as you defeat the boss, that's it. The thing is over and you get rewards. You also, if you complete all of this stuff, get one of the better support memories, which is the Zeno's Welcome Words, excuse me. Which gives you permanent attack and defense by 10% for Universe Survival Saga category allies, which, because we are getting a lot of Universal Survival Saga category units that are easying during the anniversary, as well as units that are already easyed on JP, and also future stuff as well, that it could definitely be a good support memory to bring. The characters you can't bring are just characters that nuke or one-shot the event, such as him. But most of the time you don't really need to bring them anyways. It doesn't really matter, right? So like I was talking about, this one is just, and we could go ahead and show it. This is just one where you just want to bring whatever the most type advantage unit is. So we could see here, back then I brought Tech Gohan, who wasn't easy 8 because he had guard, and then I brought all of these characters that would either are type effective or would have dodged. So Khalifa, for example, is very good in this event because she has it at the bottom of her passive. Let me see where it is. Right here, in the middle of her passive, sorry. When there is a Universal Survival Saga or Pure Saiyans enemy, she gets guaranteed dodge. She just evades any attack. So she is very good for any of these fights because, again, it's just a permanent dodge. You could place her in slot 1 and then she would permanently dodge. So there's other units that I brought back then, which were the LRs, of course, too. All right, sorry about that. If I have any background noise from this point on, it's mostly just because family, but hope you guys can understand. So yeah, like I was talking about, most of the teams are just characters that have type advantage or also damage reduction, like in this specific scenario. So For this one, I just, mainly brought Hybrid Saiyans while trying to do that. But again, this is another one that you could just easily beat if you just use items. There are no missions that specifically say that you can't use items, and there are no missions that specifically say that you have to use specific teams. So just beating it, getting it done, and getting it out of the way is usually the best. So here we have Collection of Epic Battles, which I believe just had like new stages too. On JP, was it? I think it was on JP. I might be wrong, but anyways, these ones are specifically for completing support memories, and then I think you can also upgrade them. These ones do have missions though, but they are missions that you kind of have to do in order to get these support memories, which are pretty decent, but I wouldn't recommend you doing these unless you have those teams that you want to use. So like Android/Cell Saga 15% to extreme class allies, Android/Cell Saga, but it's super class, Planet MX Saga super class, Planet MX Saga extreme class. They split them up, but they give you a higher attack and defense boost by 5%, right? Cell Max is one that I would skip if you don't know what you're doing, or you don't have like just a decent team. This guy will kill you, and he will spare no remorse. And on JP, it's even worse because the stage 2 of this is even worse. So this is a thing that gets easier if you use the advantageous characters, which is basically just all of the superhero units, and also the superhero units when they drop on JP as well, or sorry, on global. So I believe Beast Gohan and Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 are on the advantageous categories as well. So the first two phases are actually just so easy. It's the last phase that kills you. Like, and he does it twice. He does 2 supers that are just like some of the harder hitting ones too, for the amount of time that you have to build up. Like, unless you're using characters that have come out this year or last year, you can just get crushed in here because you just have no time. But it doesn't like give too many rewards, and the missions are, yeah, just like you have to use special pose. Good luck, dude. Like that, you just, some of these missions are just like impossible unless you have like a really stacked account. But you can just get like some of these missions for beating Cell Max within 8 turns, doing this, doing that, no items. The other thing, that the gimmick of this is you can only use a Sensu Bean, because that's all they used in Superhero, was that they used a Sensu Bean, right? So then we go over here. Fighting Spirit of the Saiyans and Pride of the Wicked Bloodline. This is the event that came out with the Worldwide Download celebration of not last year, but the year before. So this is when Bird Q or Super Saiyan Goku came out, the one who revives and then revives the bird as well. And the Metal Cooler also came out. And then obviously STR Cooler and all of these units too. So the thing that you really want to use with this is just whatever the newest unit is, or whichever are the advantageous characters. If you do want to look for a team, just go into advantageous characters and usually just choose whichever ones are in here, because these are usually the best. Yeah, they just don't want you to bring the units that are nuking these characters, which is why there are some restrictions, but don't worry, you wouldn't want to take those anyways. So here's again where we just get another boost or a jump in difficulty. So this is the Birth of the Shadow Dragons event. This is an event that again is just something that like you just want to usually bring the type advantage against, or you want to bring whatever is type advantage at the end, because most of these events don't have too good type coverage. Like AGL, boom, you can get this one out. Int, boom, you get this one out. You see that the last phase is AGL, but the first phase is Int, so you might want to not bring tech. But if you just bring AGL, for example, or literally anything other than STR, then you're killing this phase and being type neutral for most of it. Physical, right? Then STR. So boom, you bring AGL and you're dominating the last phase. STR, boom, dominating. Physical, boom, dominating. Sin Shenron, these are the 2 last hardest ones. These are the ones you have to really look out for. Sin Shenron and Omega, these ones have better type coverage, but you can see here, like if you bring all physical units, that STR phase is going to kill you. If you bring STR, for example, though, the second phase is going to kill you, and like this one actually did have the good type coverage. The main thing and the thing that you usually want to do is just bring units that are just stacking, because you do have time, but then also having units that are being able to work in slot 1 and don't necessarily need a lot of defense before super attacking. So like Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who just released, would be pretty good. Tech Gohan would be good. Vegeta would be good. Like some of these really dominant slot 1 options would be really good in this fight, especially because some of these phases do have AoEs, which would target all of these guys. So the anniversary fight is a fight that gives you very powerful equipment for a lot of these characters, and which is really good because some of these are getting super easy A's as well, which we could talk about later. So the first anniversary is just basically every single anniversary unit is in their own respected stage. So the first anniversary, second, third, most of these stages are really easy. It's most of a difficult change when you get to the 8th anniversary, which I think has it where it can kill you. Yeah, I think that like these are usually the hardest ones, right? Yeah, but the good thing is that the missions are just beating the event, and then they give you these really powerful equipment that I would 100% say to put on all of the characters that are on there. While some of them aren't really good now, like we can go ahead and just say that STR Gogeta and Int Janemba, which are on the top, are really bad. Third year anniversary, or was it second year? Second year anniversary, Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta are really bad now, right? But I would still recommend that you putting the equipment on them, because when they do eventually easy A, they're going to be really good. Behold, the support memory boost is just an event that can level up some of these support memories. If you don't really if you don't really plan on using them, you could just do it for the rewards. I cannot be bothered because I'm not going to use them anyways, but they do have stone rewards in here as well. So it's not like I'll probably grind up all of these one day, but you definitely should also just do some of these as well, right? Because they do have a good amount of stones in here. Then we have the training with Saibaman. Again, another thing that I just can't be asked to do. But basically, you have to complete all of these stages in the select amount of turns. So it's telling here that you should even use unit super attacks that just target everybody. And the reason why is just because you want to kill all of the Saibamen, aka all 5 Saibamen, within 3 charges. So basically you have 1 turn to defeat all of these Saibamen or you lose. And then if you turn Giant Form, Great Ape, Rage, like all of those will also be counted as picking up because it's charges, it's not turns. And then you'll lose. So you have to watch out for that as well. So don't break any of those. Then we get a little bit of a difficulty dive, which these ones are a lot easier. So this came out during the 7th year anniversary, aka around 2 years ago from the time of this recording, or 2022 basically. But this one has it where Legic is very easy, type advantage, you know, it's basically the same thing where I've been saying with all of the other events. Choose type advantage for the last stage unless it specifically is type covered on the final phase. So again, you bring all physical, guess what? You're not going up against a single stage of STR, right? You bring all AGL and guess what? These phases are immediately dying. Right. Unless these units have guards or damage reduction or something to make up for the fact of them not being type advantage. Movie Boss Rush can be difficult, specifically the last phase, aka Broly, or stage 8 when it does come out to global. But again, if you are a new player, I would just recommend doing the first couple of stages up until you can't do them anymore and then just stop. If you can't beat whatever stage that you're stuck on, you can try to go for the next one, because like from what I remember, Cooler is harder than Fusion Android 13 because Fusion Android 13 doesn't like do anything to you, but I don't remember what Cooler does. Does it say? I can't remember. But like Cooler has like a specific ability that's a little bit of a gimmick. But Fusion Android 13 has nothing. He just doesn't do anything, right? Wicked Bloodline, same thing. It's a little bit newer, so it's a little bit more difficult, but you do these first few phases, or these first few fights, and it's just really not that hard, right? Bring full physical, guess what? You're a type advantage for most of the end of the fight, right? Metal Cooler Core can be difficult, and that's more of a gimmick fight too. You have to survive for 3 turns, and then the 4th turn and beyond, you're fighting against the physical Metal Cooler Core. But he's relatively easy now at this point, especially if you're using newer characters. Red Ribbon Army, as I've kept saying, do the first couple of phases if you can. If not, try a different or a more difficult fight from that point on and see if you could beat it. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 though they're not that bad compared to some of these other phases, and same with Cell Max. Like these two are not like as hard as Metal Cooler Core in my opinion. Then we get to the way more difficult ones. These ones you could try to do as well, but keep in mind that these ones, like starting from like stage 3, some of these units can one-shot you. Goku Black is a little bit of a doozy, right? Same with Zamasu and Fusion Zamasu. The difficulty jump from this one is tremendous. 17 and 18 can be done with relative ease as well. Then we get to Divine Wrath and Mortal Will. This is another fight where you have to use certain characters to really beat this. Again, you can't take characters that would be able to nuke. But the gimmick with this one is that if you're fighting, we can go ahead and just go into it. Sorry, I'm just going to wait for it to load. If you're fighting a super class unit, you want to use extreme class because they'll do and take a lot less damage. If you're fighting a super class, you want to, use an extreme class and you'll take and do less damage. I'm sorry, take less damage and do more damage to the enemy. So, like, most of these are kind of, like, obvious of what those are. But, yeah. So, Mortal Will is like that. There's also, specific stuff that you could do too, like the missions. I would just do it first and then get those later. I could definitely got to do those as well. I didn't see that there was stuff locked behind it. Another thing with Extreme Z areas, the other thing I forgot to mention with Extreme Z areas, like you can do it if you really want to, but you can see here I'm missing like all of these Extreme Z areas. Well, I don't really recommend doing this all of the time, because there are LRs that will EZA later on that you might need these EZA TURs for, and then you'll just be so far behind. But some of these kits are just awful that I wouldn't like harp on you if you just don't want to grind some of these units, right? Like I would not do it. If you're having difficulty with the other red zones, these ones are actually just impossible for you, and I would not recommend doing them because they are the newest one. I can't really speak on the ones that are, or the stages that come out after this as well, but I'm assuming they're going to be harder because they're not in the game just yet. Then again, another nosedive of difficulty where we get to Super Battle Road. So Super Battle Road is another event where it's just so much easier, especially the first stages. Like, look at this. We're on stage 77 now. There's so many events. Like, I could just scroll through all of this. Like, look at this. Look at this, dude. 77 events. So the first 10 stages are gimmick stages. You have to fight using one specific typing and one specific class. So Super Physical, Extreme Physical, Super STR, Extreme STR, but the thing with all of these SBRs is it's just insanely easy because you could bring 4 items. Like it just does not matter, right? Bringing 4 items is just so easy at this point. But yeah, this can also give you a lot of, we could just check it because I haven't done some of these. Doing these stages could get you 5 of the Dragon Stones, as well as these rewards you could trade in for stuff like more stamina, more box space, like all of that good stuff. They're all good. Then we get another nosedive in difficulty again, where we get Infinite Dragon Ball History, which just basically goes through all of the phases of whatever saga or specific scenario that they're talking about, like Goku's family, Android/Cell Saga, versus androids versus the Super Warriors. The first stages are so abysmally easy that you could just bring free-to-play units and wipe every single one. And we can even go down all the way over here and see that I probably cleared it with Gohan before he EZA'd. Nope, I actually used these. So yeah, look at this. Look at this passive, and you can tell that these things are easy, right? Look at this passive, right? You don't need to use the newest units, right? But the thing that you mainly do want to use, which I'll even show like later on that I did eventually use, is you do want to use units that have stacking in them. So like, look at that, stacking, defense stacking. It's like how every other unit is. If they're stacking, they're just gonna excel so much more in these events. Extreme Super Battle Road is the basically kind of difficulty spike for these ones. You have to do the same exact ones that are in Super Battle Road, but they're more difficult now. The thing is that you could still bring 4 items, so yeah, but you do get more rewards. You get 7 stones and equipment, top tier equipment, so you know it's a good trade-off. You get equipment, and then also you can easy some characters that were given to you from the regular Super Battle Road missions, or just later on you can get support memories as well, or even awakening them, like how it shows with this. So like this Goku, like for example, gets pretty good. All of those ones, yeah. Then we got the intensifying fights and all that stuff. We got the intensifying. Oh no, that's what it was that I was talking about. That it just got a new stage. I haven't actually done the newest stage, but we could see here that the let me see. I can't remember this one. What was the gimmick for this one? Oh, you have to use the effective category because they just help you out so much more. You do a lot more damage, you take a lot less damage, you know, all that good stuff. So most of the time you do want to bring units that are on that category, but it's not like you have to, as you can see there. The arrow is just telling you that I did bring those units that needed to be brought, but then here you go. I brought a team of only that category, right? Target Goku. And that newest one is one that I'll have to do. The rewards are just 5 stones, and then you can do certain categories. Let's go ahead. So again, back to easy A areas. Excuse me. This character, as of release, or as of this video releasing, is actually pretty good, which is why I say that it's really a case-by-case basis on if you really want to do these easy A's. But like I said, the higher you go up, the more recent it is. Because these are the 2 most recent Dokkan events is why they're always going to be at the top, right? Alright, and then I think that's kind of it. I don't really see any other challenge events that I could really worth mentioning. But yeah, if at all you have any confusion, you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, make sure to, you know, let me know. And then I can go ahead and try my best to help you out. If you have specific teams that you need me to check over, making sure that you're able to take on whichever event that you are going to take on, like I said, let me know. But yeah, if you guys need any like I said, assistance, just leave a comment. I'll do my best to help out when I do get to it. But other than that, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Thank you as always for me. Remember, if you guys did make it this far, thank you as always for watching. If you guys did find this helpful in any way, you know, I always appreciate if you guys can, you know, subscribe or leave a like, any of that good stuff. It really helps out the channel, lets me know that I'm doing a good job, and makes me feel good. So, and it's free. So, but yeah, other than that, I hope you guys all have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.